Hello everyone, many thanks for always keeping it Ebru Africa of Linda Alela, and welcome on board for News in Focus. And today we are going to make it a story Wednesday, and we have a lady who's going to tell us her story. And it's not just her story. Reason why we've decided to have her today is simply because she has an incredible story. It's a young lady who's decided to dedicate her life into helping vulnerable women who are older than her, women who've had experiences that she's not had, but still she's able to speak to them. We understand the plight of widows, the plight of women out there, the issues that they go through on a day-to-day issues in society. And we always talk about empowering women and all that. But it's not easy, especially when they're going through tough times. And indeed, that's the reason why we're having Pastor Hannah Ngenya. Pastor Hannah Ngenya is here, of course, she'll tell us she's a pastor from where and all that. And of course, we just get to know her. We just get to meet her story. And we also get to help out the women through her. Karibu sana, Pastor.
Thank you, Linda.
Many thanks for finding time to be here with us.
Thank you.
Yet, of course, you looked extremely young, I would say extremely young and pretty. And we have this notion that, of course, with all this pretty look and everything, you would be out there having fun, you'd be out there, just enjoying life and having your beauty, speak out to the world. But you have chosen a totally different path. And that's the reason why we say today it's a Wednesday that is going to be full of stories about you and the great things that you're doing to the women out there. So karibu sana, and of course tell us from where, what church you come from.
Okay. My name, as Linda said, is Pastor Hannah Ngenya. I fellowship at Nairobi Pentecostal Church, and that's the church that I was pastoring before. I started Badili Centre. Yes.
All right. Of course, she is also the CEO, or rather the founder of Badili Centre. And like I told you earlier on, we're going to talk about this special thing that she's doing to our women out there. And this is because just the other day, we celebrated Widows, International Widows Day. And we've seen a lot of widows out there. We're having issues with the widows and everything, let alone the other women and all that. So we would want, first of all, to get to know Badili Centre. What is Badili Centre? And after the Widows Day and all that, what is it? What are the plans that you guys have laid on ground in this particular day, of course, in celebration of that particular day?
Okay. All right, let me just give a brief about Badili Centre and how it came to be.
Yeah.
I remember in 2005, when I finished my undergrad degree on sociology and politics, my dad wanted me to do human resource and development, but I think God had a different plan for me. Because what I felt inside is that, God has called me and I needed to serve God. So it's then that I actually just, told my dad I want to go to Bible school and, to the seminary and just study to serve God. And that same year, just as I was waiting for my graduation, I joined in Nairobi, African Evangelical School, which is in Karen, Africa International School.
Yeah.
Before it was called Next. That's why I'm trying to confuse the name. And so that's where I went and did a Master's of Divinity in Pastoral Studies, which took 3 years. Okay. And then after that, I was taken in at NPC, Nairobi Pentecostal Church, Woodley, and I started my internship as a pastor in the children's department. And it was there when I saw the plight of the women who would come to ask for, just help from church. They'll come to beg for food. They'll come to ask for just help in every way, every sort of way, basic needs. Yeah. So I just felt maybe I should do more. And I remember at that time I shared with a friend of mine, Pastor Jacob, and a colleague at that time, and I told him, I feel like I should help these women more, and we should maybe have a training for them. Then another pastor who was my friend said, okay, they had tried that model of training and it failed, so they were not about ready to start yet. They were still researching what to do next. So it's then that I felt, no, maybe I should do more than what the church is doing. Then I resigned in the year 2010 in March, and that's when I began Badili Centre.
So you're resigning to go and help the ladies.
Yes.
And let's face this, most of the time, most of the help that they would want is matters financial. So you're resigning to go to help them. And looking at you tentatively young, I can imagine you might not be able to give more of advice, extra advice. They would actually think you might not fit in their shoes because you've not been there. And now you do not have money, I presume, to help these ladies. How did you go about it?
Okay, because I believe when God gives you a call, because I felt it was a call, He provides for the call. And I'm going to share a bit later how Badili started and how God mysteriously, you know, provided for Badili and has been providing for Badili.
Yeah.
But I remember when I got the call, I was scared because, you see, I'd already moved out of home.
Yeah.
You know, I had bills to pay. I was taking care of myself. But I remember a friend of mine who was very mature in the things of God and faith said, you know, if you feel it's God who has called you, then, you know, you can resign and He's going to provide for you.
Yeah.
And, you know, in faith, because of that, because God provides, you know, it's just that people don't know. When people hear living by faith, they think you're living in poverty, but God actually provides. And He gives, you know, connections. So I resigned in faith, and I said, okay, God, you're this God who has provided for other people. I've read faith stories of other people that went before me, and you have provided. So it means even for me, you're going to provide for me. And on that basis, I went and talked to the bishop. That time it was now the current bishop, Oginde.
Yeah.
And I remember he told me, you know, God can send you to a ministry even for a day to fulfill purpose. And he said, if you feel, you know, being led here has also led you to another call of God, then I will release you with a clean heart. And he prayed for me. He has such a fatherly heart. And that really touched me, and it gave me confidence to, you know, to go out there and start Badili Centre.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Badili Centre, and of course your dad wanted you to go to school, do something different, and here you are, you're doing a totally different thing. First of all, I'd love to know, is your dad a Christian, or, of course, because I mean, well, it's natural for a parent to be proud if you see your child is venturing so much into matters, you know, religion and all that. Kind of tells you that, of course, she's going through the right path. But then again, there's always this notion that you do not want maybe a pastor, maybe it's not going to pay much, and you're looking at your kid, and you're thinking she can do even better, she can do other things, and you know, pastor as a side hustle or a side whatever thing to do. How do you see? Did he take it, you know?
Okay. My dad was not so surprised because he raised us up in the ways of God. He would read for us scriptures when we were young every evening. But my siblings had a problem because they said, okay, what kind of career have you chosen, you know? Where is this leading? Because they're not, and in our family background, there's nobody, I can't recall of anybody who had, you know, ventured into going to Bible school or into the seminary. But my dad encouraged me actually, and he actually paid for me fee, and I remember I also would get scholarships because I would do well in class. So the people who had the biggest problem and challenge were my siblings. You know, it made us even not talk for some time. But later on, they came to accept, you know, because they saw the passion I had, you know, for what I'm doing, and from, you know, just the call of God in my life. And you know, Linda, sometimes some things, it's not you who dictates. I remember God orders. I mean, there's a verse that says, you know, the steps of a righteous man are ordered of God. So God is the one who directs you. Sometimes you want to take one path, but then again, He leads you to other paths. And another thing that people get it wrong is that they think when you're serving God, you're just fixed, you can't do anything else. I've realized that as I'm working with God, I'm even discovering myself. Father, I know the talents I use. You know, sometimes I love, you know, just modeling and all that. So you can also use other talents even as you're serving God. It doesn't mean that you're just fixated on one thing.
All right, now, of course, we're always told, how do you get to talk to these ladies and tell them, purpose, you know, like, you know, you have a future, yet here you are saying that, of course, God guides your path and He really directs you to this particular direction. But sometimes we're also told that we hold, you know, our destiny, we hold our future, we hold basically everything that we want to be in life. So how, at some point, it could be more of contradicting, because I can't imagine. Well, let me start by asking, at a tender age, did you ever think that you would be this? Of course.
Not really, because I hadn't imagined myself, you know, going into the pastoral and everything else. But I knew for sure, you know, I wanted to just serve God in whatever capacity, in whatever way. Because again, like I had said, we were raised up in a Christian family. But I never really foresaw myself being a pastor. It's something that just came, you know. And that's why I say, you know, sometimes you might not know, but God intervenes in our lives. All of us, you know, we don't know, but in His own ways, you know. So for me, it was that desire to just serve Him, and it just came all of a sudden. It was so heavy on my heart that I couldn't even ignore it. Yes.
Okay, so how do you get to know that it's the voice of God? Of God? Is it because it's simply doing good? Or
No,
what?
actually, you know, there's a verse in the Bible that says, you know, my sheep know my voice. Working with God is just like any other relationship you have with a friend. You know, it takes time to know the friend. And as you grow more in Him, and as you grow intimate with God, you will get to know his voice when he's speaking to you. Of course, in the world, there are so many other voices out there. Voices from maybe friends, voices in your own mind, but there's a distinct voice that comes upon you when you walk with God, and you know, really, this is God speaking. And also, he confirms, because for me, he had to confirm through a friend, you know, that this is where he wanted me to be.
Yeah. All right. Now, why the ladies only? Because we also have men out there who are going through tough times. You know, probably somebody just had a wife and the wife passed on and is left with the kids and all that. Well, like you said, maybe it's because maybe women used to come to your place, to where you're working, you know, to church and asking for help in this way or another. But there must have been another reason as to why you based your focus on women in particular, and as much as they're vulnerable, we understand. So why is it that you focus on the women most? And of course, you'll also need to tell us the challenges that you go through.
Okay. I remember when I was young, I lost my mom when I was very young.
All right.
So it also took away that privilege of growing up with a mom. So that thing, and also, you know, just that desire wanting a mom, I think is what led me to want to be close to God, and also just starting to realize the challenges that women go through, because women go through a lot, especially in Africa, and women who come from poor backgrounds, they go through a lot. Sometimes they are single mothers, they are the only providers, so they have to come back home and also just cater for their children. They have to fend for these kids. They have to be the father and the mother. It's tough, you know. And or sometimes you find that they are battered, women are battered in silence, because maybe culture tells them, you know, this is your husband, so you should take it, lying down low. Or culture also, some culture dictates that women have no voice. So you're married and you can't speak for yourself because you're a woman, you know. And I remember in the old Greek times, they used to say, thank God I'm not a dog or a woman. That can tell you where a woman was placed. So it's just not now that women are starting to have issues in life, but it started a long time ago. And when you look at the ministry of Jesus, he always uplifted the woman. I remember like in the issue where people came to stone a woman, say she was committing adultery, and he defended that woman, not because he defended the sin, but the person, you know. And then I remember also on instances where in his ministry, most of the people who were following him were women, you see. So women have a very special, you know, part or place also in God to know who they are. But that doesn't mean that we are segregating the women from the men or saying that let's empower the women so that the women can take over men, because that's not the design of God. Different sexes have different roles in God, even in marriage. So you find that now when in the world people want to compete, you know, different sexes want to compete, but that's not how the plan of God was from the beginning.
So should we say that we should stop striving for equality, because for the longest time we've been striving for equality?
You know, for me, equality is not what people think, like I should be equal to this person. No. And I am not disreputing the fact that women should fight for their rights. They should, because some of them are really abused, you know. But it should be in a way that is moderate, so that it doesn't break families or relationships, even with the men. Because God knew we needed each other, both men and women. But yes, let's work in a way that, you know, the women benefit and the men also get to benefit.
All right, now, what are the programs that we have with Badili Centre? What exactly is it that you're doing, and what women are you reaching so far? How many women have you reached, and how many lives have you transformed?
Okay, let me first start by explaining. Badili means transform. And our program, we started with the women, but we have also, women have also come in our training. Yes, and the youth, because also we believe the youth are the future. The youth are the future, so we also want to empower the youth. And anyway, many of the women who we train, even though they have children, they still fall under the category, the UN description of the youth, which is 18 to 35 years of age, they still fall under that category. So I remember when I started Badili Centre, and you know, it's just like I was learning on the job, if I can use that word, because I was just trying to see how best to help these women. But after 1 year, that is in 2011, I already had a curriculum where we'd now train these women on the theory and the practical business skills. So the theory skills, we started with self-discovery, because somebody has to discover themselves. And then when you discover yourself, then we have change of mindset and attitude. Because I believe if you train somebody and you don't change their minds, then you haven't really transformed that person. And then we have a health course, because some of these women, even the basic of knowledge, information, they don't have about health, about just eating a balanced diet, which you take for granted because we are taught maybe in home science. Some of them never went to school. They started family very young. And then we have 6 business courses, which include bookkeeping, entrepreneurship, a stewardship course. We also have sales and marketing. We have financial management. And then we have added 2 more courses this year, which is the civic education, because we believe that people should know their rights and also know a bit about governance. And then also we have a leadership course, but this we train at their level. But the women, we started with training the women who had come from poor backgrounds. But now we're also training other women too, because like the 2 courses, the first 2 courses, self-discovery and then change of mindset and attitude. They're courses that are just, taught across the divide. It doesn't matter about you, socioeconomic status, but you need them because you need to know who you are as a person. So we also train that. And even most men like coming for those 2 courses, know. And then, so then we have the practical courses, which include soap making, sewing, peanut butter making, baking, beadwork. We also have creative arts. We also have introduced plating of the hair, and just arts, like painting and all the,
Like how many women do you have on board right now? And are they supposed to pay a fee, or Badili Centre is just a faith-based, I would say, something to do with grace for them?
So far we have trained 2,000 women in Kenya, Ethiopia, and Nigeria. And we have partnered with different organizations, just like, CMS and others, Break Forth International. So these organizations have also helped us, just be able to go further, because I believe I can do this work on my own. And that's why we encourage partnerships. We have also partnered with different churches here in Nairobi, that have helped us, even provided halls, and then we're able to train. So the model we use is that we look for those people who really can't afford the training. We look for sponsors who are able to sponsor the training, and then they're able to buy I forgot to mention about this manual. This is a manual that I authored. It's called Financial Freedom for Vulnerable Women. Actually, this is our logo. This means these are people in darkness, but they're coming to light. So that's what our logo means.
I hope that, all right.
Yeah. So this book goes for 500 Kenyan shillings. So a woman at least should be able to buy this, and then maybe just pay 500 for maybe the practical. Then the other we subsidize. But those are just the very poor women. But for other people, maybe who are able to pay the course, we charge at least 5,000 per person to do the whole course, the theory course, and then they pay some more money if they want to do the practical courses, just to buy the ingredients and everything. So so those are the courses that we have for Badili Centre. So it depends, with also the kind of group. If we have let's say a group that is flexible, we can be able to train even within a week. If we have a group that they are only available on Saturdays, we can be able to train within 2 months and a half.
Where
and
you
then
guys
they
based?
Okay, our offices are at Kilimani, just behind near Uchumi, Bishop Mago. Yes. And something else I forgot to mention was that, so when we have groups and they come and they complete the training, we give them a certificate. So that certificate is able to help them maybe get jobs and everything else. We also have mentorship and counseling sessions where the people come, and the mentorship, we invite people from different spheres of life, different maybe like if it's in the banking sector, if it's in the, like maybe people who are in the health sector, to come and just mentor these people and to expose them to a wide variety of, of things in life. And then the counseling, we have pastors who come in, or professional counselors who are able to counsel the woman or the person who's coming for training. Because ours, we want to focus on a holistic kind of approach of training, where we cater for the person as a whole, not just you as an individual,
maybe on particular ground.
No, because we believe someone has. I mean, a human being is made up of the body, spirit, and soul. So we try to cater for all these 3 aspects.
Okay, speaking of that, still let me ask you, in case somebody comes and take a particular course and they're done with the course, what follow-up do you make, after that? Maybe they go out there. Well, it's not necessary they're going to be to vent for themselves. It's not necessary they're going to get jobs, but well, luckily they could get jobs. But still, like for instance, these women come here because they've gone through a lot, that psychological torture, that torture they've gone through. And it's a healing process that might take long. It cannot take only 3 weeks. It needs more time and everything. And for this person to come back to equilibrium and to come back to stability, what do you do after that? And of course, I also want to know the challenges that you go through. Yeah.
All right, so after the trainings, we do a lot of follow-up and evaluation sessions where we, and that's why we like working with churches or organizations so that it can be easy, to follow up on this person, on these people as a group. Because following up on one person, it's going to be hard for us.
It's a bit tough.
So we normally call them after, maybe we go and train after a month or so. We keep on following up with the group. How have you been? How is it? How has the training helped you? How has it changed your life? And we have actually had over many, actually let me say 70% success stories of people who just were not doing much in life, or they were not doing well. But after they came for our trainings, they got a skill, their minds were transformed, and now there are people who at least are active and are able to, be productive and even be change agents for their own societies.
All right.
So we're able to do that, the follow-up. Okay, some of the, I'll just mention about the challenges and also some of the
major one. I'd want to know, are you married?
No, I'm
Sorry
not.
to ask that. You're not.
Yes.
So that should be a major challenge, because you can imagine this is a lady who was married, or maybe is still married and is going through tough times. You try and talk to them in as much as before they even get to these other counselors and other people. You talking to them first of all looks like it might not make so much sense, because you do not understand what you're not yet there yet. So something like that.
Okay. All right, yes, it's true, I'm not married, but I believe wisdom comes from God, Sometimes, most of the time, even before I do counseling or I speak to the women, I usually spend so much time praying. And I have friends who are married and have taught me a lot about that. And it's an area that I know I'm looking forward to. But so when the women come with all these problems, I'm able to counsel them also with the help of other couples who are also married. Because what we want to do is, because in this world I've noticed many people have a very negative view nowadays about marriage because of all the divorce rates that are coming up. But when we have the pastors come in, or other couples who are positive, they're able to see, okay, marriage can work, and marriage in God does work if when you use godly principles. So that's how I'm able to do it, though I know it's not easy, because they will ask, at the end of the day they'll say, marriage, you have kids, you don't understand. But that's why we now bring other people on board to help me too.
All right. Yeah. That's great. Thanks so much. Of course, unfortunately, time is not so much on our side. So as we get to wind up, probably you can tell us, I guess there's somebody who's out there and would want to sponsor, this project, and would want to partner with you or want to join you. Maybe she's far from there. How can she go about it, or how can he go about it?
Okay. In case maybe there are people who want to contact us, we have our details, our email addresses that maybe we can give on the show. Is it possible?
Yeah, just mention it.
So Badili, they can just send us an email on badilicentre@gmail.com, and also they can be able to go and check out our website at badilicentre.com and be able to see what we are all about. But when they send an email, we'll be able to respond to them.
All right. That's great. Now, final words to these ladies who are out there. And of course, time is so bad, we will not touch so much. But anyway, nonetheless, I think there's someone who's been helped out there. And of course, one simple word that they would want to hear, a word of hope before they get to reach to you.
Okay. Yeah, for me, the word of hope I can give people is that God is a God of second and third and fourth and fifth and many chances, and that God is able to lift you from nothing to something, and that when you start by faith, God is able to carry you through. We started Badili Centre by faith. I didn't even know how it was going to go. But right now we have trained so many people. We even won an award in 2013, the Africa
In fact, I wanted to ask about your success stories, but clearly from what you've said, I mean, it's clear that you're doing good.
Yeah, the African Pillar Award. And we just, God has been providing, the connections. People, like last year, I remember, a diplomat's wife read about us, and it opened other doors for us. I've seen so many doors opened with even the media, the government, because of God. So he's able. So you don't have to go out there as a woman to compromise yourself to get stuff done or for doors to open. But when you have God, doors will open. So he's the door opener. is the one who guides you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for
Thank
finding
you.
time to be here with us. And I'm finding it so hard calling you Pastor because I kind of look like it's more of less the same age, and we used to pastors, pastors without means. But nonetheless, of course, God chooses and enables the people that He chooses. So many thanks for always finding time to be here with us. Remember, you can talk to us, of course, in case you'd want to get contacts to Badili Centre. And of course, and until next time, I'm Linda Alela Mathambu. Always keep it Ebru Africa. Thanks to the team that has made up the program a success. Till next time, bye-bye.